But what I know is I'm feeling just fine.
My life is like a red carpet, and I'm feeling like the richest millionaire. This is my local mayor, and I'm the biggest star around here. What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. Subscribe or die trying. You see the thumbnail. Let's talk about the Deadbeat Kid Era. So I know we talking about fences, and people use fences as a reference for cheating in relationships and whatnot. And back in the day, they was cheating. But we need to talk about the Deadbeat Kid Era that affects us today. So there was a clip of a kid whose parents gave them a Tesla, gave her a Tesla, and she freaked out and was like, "Yeah, that's not what I wanted. I want a Benz, a Mercedes Benz. You got a Tesla, and you want a Mercedes Benz, and you're a teenager." And I started thinking about, those clips of what is that? Not clips, news stories of people saying that people in the upper class and the middle class, people who are raised in the upper class and the middle class, might not live in the upper class and middle class when they become adults. And this goes back to, some people being too spoiled, and some people, believe in the hype. And, there was a generation who, quote unquote, had deadbeat dads, right? And that generation had kids and was like, I'm never going to be a deadbeat. Some of those guys wind up, the minority of those guys got married and had two-parent households, and the majority wound up on child support. But they weren't, quote unquote, deadbeats like their dads, right? But what you're seeing is an increase of deadbeat kids. Kids who don't want to leave the nest. Kids who, they don't want to go to school. They don't want to graduate high school. They don't want to go to college. They don't want to go to trade school. They don't want to go to the military. They wind up becoming adults and having their own kids, and they don't want to take care of their own kids, but they swear to God that their dad was a deadbeat, or the trauma that they went through. And it's like, no, you're just a deadbeat kid. There's so many kids who, were overly concerned about looking fly and being cool in fashion when they became an adult. Fashion was their number one concern, and partying was their number one concern. So as an adult, they're not worried about adult responsibilities, and they don't want to take care of themselves because, they're spoiled. Like, how often do you hear somebody, especially the ladies, when they go, I was spoiled by my family. And it's like, that's why you so entitled and such a deadbeat with other people, and everybody else has to do something for you, because you ain't gonna do nothing for yourself, because you're a deadbeat. You can go back and move back home and go over this person's house and live with this person and live with that person, because you're a deadbeat as an adult. You constantly calling back home for help, and people are constantly helping you, which is stupid. You got some of these guys, who wanted to be fly guys, let's just say it, and they decided to be in the streets or act like they in the streets, and then they became parents, and now they become just sucker adults who really are just a drain on themselves, on their family. Family works hard, they don't. Family does good business, is responsible, they're not. You know what I mean? And now it's like, oh, but you know what I've been through. That's why I'm using the fences reference, because the son didn't want to, work really. Oh, I just can't do that because I don't want to work because I'm not built like that. It's not my soul. But you constantly showing up asking for money. Nobody owes you like that. You grown. It's the influx of deadbeat kids. And then, people don't want to talk about it, but there are so many, how can I say this properly? So many adults who are supposed to be grown, 30s, 40s, 50s. When you talk to them, all they can do, yeah, my mama did that, my dad was always, you grown in the mud. Your parents are either grandparents or dead, and you're sitting here on the, well, you know what I'm saying, I can't do that because they did that, and I don't know, I like the way they do it, but I don't want to do it for myself. And it's like, no, we're not playing this game. We're not playing this game. So a lot of y'all don't want to admit that there's a lot of deadbeat kids running around here. A lot of them. A lot of y'all are drug addicts and alcoholics and shopaholics, or cloutaholics, attentionaholics. Because it's always got to be about you no matter what. You spoiled to the point that even if you have kids, you got to have more attention than your kid. And you're supposed to focus your attention on the kid. You're a deadbeat. You're a deadbeat kid. Some of you trying to guilt your parents into still taking care of you because something possibly happened to you, when you were a child or a teenager, and that's the only leverage you got. So it's always got to be an issue. But the only reason I'm like this because what happened to me when we was 12. I just can't do it. I'm just so scarred. I just, why I can't move forward. The trauma, the anxiety. No. Some of y'all got so many traumas and anxieties that you got to take care of that your kids are left to fend for themselves. And guess what? You don't care about their trauma and anxiety. And your parents got to look at you. I gotta go take care of my grandbabies because they're gonna be they might die messing around with this fool. I raised this fool. And here's the kicker. A lot of y'all were raised better than you are. Were treated better than you claim to be treated. And you just became a loser because you chose to be a loser because your family was so on point. They had enough room for you to be unsuccessful. And that sucks. So a lot of y'all playing this game that life is so hard, but truth be told, life was real easy for you. You just made it hard on yourself because you didn't want to do anything with it. And now you're a grown adult who's a deadbeat kid. Some of y'all swear, like I said earlier, some of y'all swear y'all daddy was a deadbeat, but the only deadbeat is you with your kids. You swear your mama was a horrible mother, but you the horrible mother with your kids. Your mama taking care of your kids when she was a horrible mother. What they say about you? Your daddy taking care of your kids when you said he was a deadbeat, taking care of you, and you don't take care of your own kids. What that say about you? People in their 50s, 60s, and 70s going to work and still working themselves to death to take care of their kids because their kids too lazy to do. That's where we at. People don't want to admit that. That's where we at. That's why I got an issue with all of y'all walking around, the guys walking around with all this coloring in their hair, and and I gotta get a lining, and I gotta look cute and look pretty, and girls walking around wasting their money on fingernails and weaves. Where you getting this money from if your family is so horrible? And in the whole scammer culture is a bunch of kids who were spoiled kids who don't want to work, and they figure they're gonna scam to work, and then they scam somebody who doesn't scam for a living, and they get their brains blown out, and then y'all got an issue. You're just a deadbeat adult. That's it. But tell me what you think. Like, share, subscribe, or die trying. Catch y'all on the next one. Peace.
You ever been at the top of the universe? I'm gonna take you there.